Okay, I think we're live. Apologies, a little bit late start here. Still struggling with getting the live streams running with the new interface for August. But I'm pretty sure before long it'll become a breeze. Okay, we got games starting here in less than an hour. Let's quickly review yesterday's games and then get on to today's games. Wasn't a bad day yesterday. Let's see here. So, yesterday was Tom Brady's birthday. We talked about the possibility of the Yankees winning both games in the doubleheader to get to 42 wins on Tom Brady's 42nd birthday. For a little inside sports joke, that's exactly what happened. Birthday equals 42 in Gematria. I really liked the Yankees in the second game, which they won. I was torn on the first game because you could make sense of Chris Sale's record with a win or a loss. And he did pick up the loss. There ended up being a lot of 5-11 yesterday against Saturn. Equals 5-11 in Jewish Gematria. Saturday, named after Saturn. So that was the ritual for the day. All the 5-11s hit. And German improved to 14-2, like we talked about. When you write out 42 as a word, it sums to 142. So that could even factor into this whole Tom Brady birthday ritual. Again, it was his 42nd birthday yesterday. The Cubs looked good to beat the Brewers. It was mostly about the Brewers pitcher picking up the loss was the strongest part of the riddle. Notice he didn't get the decision, but so often when a pitcher has a strong riddle to go one way or the next, even if they don't get the decision, the team still does. Again, Gonzalez could have picked up his 99th loss at Wrigley 99 like Illinois. And the Brewers did also pick up their 23rd loss in the NL Central on the 23-date numerology. Notice the score of the Rays game, 8-6 over the Marlins. Marlins 86. Today's pitcher for the Rays can fall to 8-6 with a loss against the Marlins. Again, talked about the Marlins and Rays splitting this two-game series. If the Marlins win, they'll get to 43. Tampa Bay Rays 43. The Rays would pick up their 49th. Marlins 49, so we'll look at that later. Potential upset on the board. The Phillies did beat the White Sox, making the White Sox 5-11 against the NL. 5-11 like Saturn, like Saturday. The Mets did beat the Pirates yesterday. So we're watching to see this day in history. I thought things looked better for the Mets yesterday. We started to watch this day in history, though, and then this gave me some concern right here because I saw the Mets could get their 34th loss on this day in history and Pirates is 34. And even though we just started watching it, it's been pretty consistent with wins and losses and opponent gematria. Well, it didn't come through in this game, but everything else was looking pretty good for the Mets here yesterday, especially the pitcher, who also didn't get the decision, but Archer could have become 3-9 against New York 39. So this day in history, again, it's looking like one of those things that it might be mostly consistent, but not a perfect pattern, so we're going to have to use our intuition there. The Orioles got it done. The Orioles looked good yesterday. Did Pannone get the loss? He didn't get the loss either, but 2 days in a row in the same series, you had a pitcher pitching 97 days after his birthday with a chance to fall to 2-5. And yesterday that was the Blue Jays pitcher. The day before it was the Orioles pitcher. So Blue Jays did go down. Orioles win again on Saturday. Seems to be their day of the week. Overwhelmingly. Yankees won Game 2 of the doubleheader, 9-2 and 6-4, so 15-6. Okay, Indians did beat the Angels. They were pretty big favorites. And the concern for the Indians pitcher was that if he lost, his record would have made a whole lot of sense. With Pena, you could make sense of his record losing as well. We talked about him falling to 8-4 with a chance to get to 8-5 to face the Red Sox. He also, however, did not get credited with the loss. So, Indians the big favorites. And is there anything else there? Oh, yeah, the Indians got their 55th win on this day in history. Los Angeles is 55, so that made some sense. The Twins and the Royals. Twins beat the Royals 11-3. K is 11, C is 3. Nice score to beat KC with. Gibson, we liked him to get to 11-4. Minneapolis, Minnesota, 114, and he did do that. The second Twins pitcher this year to get there. The Royals fell to 3-8 versus the Twins on 3-8, August 3rd. Minnesota's 38. Keep in mind, Minnesota Twins is 84. If the Twins lost today, they would be 8-4 versus the Royals on August 4th. So there's another potential upset on the board. The Astros had a combined team no-hitter, and it was Astros Hall of Fame induction day, their own little Hall of Fame ceremony, which I did not know about. And you had the mass shooting in Texas, shootings 46, like no-hitter. The last no-hitter against the Mariners in the Angels ritual was a giant 46 ritual as well. So, interesting that the day before the score was 10-2, and the Mariners had a chance to win and make it 10-2, but, Mariners have really gotten their asses kicked by the Astros this year. Astros are now 11-1 against the Mariners. The Braves did beat the Reds yesterday, and the Reds got their 69th loss on this day in history, Atlanta 69. There was a narrative for both pitchers to win, but no surprises. The Braves took it, the better team at home. And we talked about the Reds sliding into the 51-date numerology with 51 wins, which is today, and Cincinnati's 51. So this day in history, again, it's coming through in the majority. The Rangers and the Tigers. Talked about how the Rangers would likely improve to 15-7 versus the AL Central because 157 is the 37th prime. Detroit 37, Rangers 37. Did Boyd pick up the loss in this one? Nope, but the starting pitcher for Detroit, he had a chance to pick up his 44th loss. Detroit's 44, so was Rangers, the overlap number. The Diamondbacks look good to end the Nationals winning streak. Notice the score, 18-7. Washington, D.C., 187. And we talked about how, Scherzer hadn't lost for 49 days or a span of 50. Circle equals 50. The last loss came against Arizona. The next loss came against Arizona. Kind of like things coming full circle. And things looked good through Robbie Ray to get the win. He had a chance to improve to 10-7. And I believe he did get the win. So 10-7. Washington Nationals is 107. And he'll face the Dodgers next, who he pitched really well against. He'll have a chance to become 11-7 versus the Dodgers. Dodgers 117. So I think Robbie Ray's going places. And it's a nice upset there. The Giants and the Rockies. It was a tight one. I thought the riddle was a little bit better for the Rockies just because Gray had a chance to get his 25th win at Coors Field over the Giants. But we did see the Giants had a chance at their 50th win versus the NL on a 50-date numerology where San Francisco's 50. I don't think Bumgarner got the decision, but Bumgarner's record could have made sense with the win. So it was a little tight. I was leaning Rockies, leaning the wrong way ever so slightly, but it was a close one. The Cardinals and the Athletics. Did Hudson get a no decision? Let's see. Did the pitchers get no decisions? No, he got a loss. Fierce got the W. Well, both of them, had they gotten no decisions, they would have had perfect records for their next opponents, so that's a little bit interesting. For all games where I thought at least one of the pitchers would get a no decision, I thought it was this one, but instead they both did. 8-3 on August 3rd. Yeah, couldn't make much of a call on that game just because the pitchers, it looked like, So anyway, we were talking about a strong chance the Cardinals win at least one of two to get to 59 wins because Oakland Athletics is 277, the 59th prime, so we'll look at that today. Wainwright's going to be pitching with 155 career wins, Oakland Athletics 155. And the Dodgers beat the Padres 4-1, LA 41. Again, talking about why it would make a lot of sense if the Dodgers won 3 out of 4 in this series and got to 74 wins and 43 home wins because San Diego's 74 and 43. And yesterday, the 3 streak narratives that we looked at. We talked about how the Rays could win 5 straight. Tampa Bay's 47, the 15th prime. 15 is the 5th triangular number. The Rays did do that. We talked about how the Blue Jays' winning streak could end at 5 in Maryland. Maryland's 47. Again, 47, 15, 5. Mathematical relationships. And we talked about how KC could lose 5 straight in Minnesota, 47. So all 3 of those 5 streaks hit in the 47 locations. So glad I came back and worked for you guys on Saturday. I imagine you guys had pretty good days. I know a lot of you said I should take a day off, but I didn't feel like it, so. And I want to do it today as well, even though Sunday's been a tough day. So let's get to today's games, because the first one looks like 43 minutes away. So we got the White Sox at the Phillies. And again, we got Smiley, who's making his second start with Philadelphia. Just getting traded from Texas. So Lopez on the mound for the White Sox. If he lost today, he would get his 26th career loss. Philadelphia's 101, the 26th prime. That's one thing that stands out. Smiley, I don't see anything screaming about his record other than he can become 3-5. Chicago's 35, so he can improve to 3-5 on the season, 2-0 with Philadelphia. It's 52 days after Smiley's birthday. If our friends out there who likes to go with the prophecy code, he's like, I know he's all over that. Prophecy equals 52. Philadelphia named in Revelation, the book of prophecy. I'm sure he likes that alignment for Smiley. The concern for me about Philadelphia is right here. It's the 19th game, which is the 8th prime. We saw in the 17th game, the Phillies picked up their 7th loss versus the White Sox. Caller?
Hey, Shaq.
Yeah.
I just want to mention real quick. You didn't put the live link to the chat room on the Patreon.
Here, let me fix it right now. Let me fix it right now.
All right, that's all, because I know the games are starting.
Okay, yeah, here, I'll fix it. Thanks. All right. For people who I shouldn't even have to really put that link there. I do it because people struggle to get in if I don't. But all you have to do to get to the live chat is click play here and then click the YouTube thing, and you're in. Boom. But here, I do mean to put it up because I know it helps people out. So let me fix that. Link to live chat. If you refresh the screen, it should show up there. You're going to have to refresh the screen. It should pop up. And then you can just click that link. Okie dokie. I see the troll. The no-life's there. What else is new? Little pecker syndrome. We know he suffers from it. Anyway. Let's look at Smiley's splits real quick against the White Sox, because I would like the Phillies except for that prime number thing. We already saw that hit once in this series. And that game looked good for the White Sox for other reasons, though, besides just that prime number. The White Sox had a few things going for them when they gave the Phillies that 7th loss in the 17th game. Let's see, Chicago. He's 0-1 versus the White Sox with 5 starts. And let's see. And he's 1-0 pitching at the Philly Stadium. 0-1 versus the White Sox in 5 starts. Alright. Let's see if Lopez real quick has any stats versus the Phillies. No, doesn't look like he does. So this is the one narrative the White Sox have going right here. The prime number thing. And it did hit in the 17th game, but again, that game, a few other things made sense. Like the Phillies became 7-4 versus the American League in that game. And Chicago White Sox equals 74. There was something with the pitcher as well. So looking at the pitchers, it makes sense for Phillies to win, but this is cause for concern. So let me get up my cheat sheet real quick, too. Make sure I'm not missing anything with the team values here. the White Sox, and Phillies. Okay. Here, and real quick, we can check who these guys are going to pitch against next. See if anything makes sense with their next record. White Sox, Phillies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Athletics. Well, if he got a no decision and faced the Athletics 5-9, that could make some sense. Oakland Athletics 277 in the 59th prime. What about the Phillies schedule? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Giants. Isn't he 2-5 on the year right now? He's 2-5 on the season. Yeah, I don't think that this is a good pick for today. Okay. Oh, I keep forgetting to do this, but I do want to scan this again real quick. This day in history. And see if we can find anything that makes a lot of sense here. So this day in history, White Sox, Phillies. White Sox are 57 and 52. Pennsylvania's 53, but again, we're looking for connections to the team. 58 and 70. I don't think. What in the world? 58, 70. Yeah, those aren't the numbers. All right, let's see. Blue Jays, Orioles. Blue Jays could get their 23rd loss, but we're looking for teams that can pick up. So the Orioles could get their 59th win on this day in history. That's interesting because Toronto Blue Jays is 59. So here, I'm going to document that real quick. We haven't seen the Orioles win on Saturday and Sunday. I can't remember that happening, but that is interesting. The Blue Jays are a very beatable opponent. Okay, so let's see what else is there. So we figured out this isn't a perfect method, but so far, after observing for 5 days, it's coming through at a very high ratio. The Angels are 24 and 33. They could get their 34th loss on this day in history. Indians is 34, and I see the Indians could get their 58th win. Angels 58. So I think that's the first time I've seen it on both sides. Whoops, 34th. Okay, I gotta make one more note though about the Indians. I see they can also get the 55th loss, and Los Angeles is 55. We just saw that play yesterday in one of the LA series, so that's a little bit okay. Well, that's an interesting one. 3 connections to this date in history. That's the most I've ever seen. Okay, for a single game. Marlins and Rays. 7 and 15. 10 and 11. Those aren't our numbers. Reds and Braves. Reds are on 67 wins. I did the exception the other day for Braves. If you use the exceptions for Braves, it's 59. Braves is also 67. I don't know if I should use the exceptions. Maybe just stick to the base ciphers. That's where I've seen it be at. I'm going to make a note about it anyway just to see here. Just to see. Reds could fall to 67-59 on this day in history with an L. Braves equals 59-67. Braves is only 59 if you use the exception, though. Okay. Mets, Pirates. Pirates. Pirates are on 57 wins. The Mets number. Pittsburgh's 58. They could get their 58th win. But it's more about the opponent. Let's see. Royals, Twins. 25-23. 67-55. Alright. They don't connect. He could stay on 67 wins. Kansas City 67, but haven't seen that pattern either. Mariners and Astros. Nothing there. Brewers and Cubs. 2025. 73-60. Nothing there. Tigers and Rangers. Nothing there. Giants and Rockies. Colorado Rockies is 73. So the Giants could get their 73rd win today. Colorado Rockies 73. And the man who likes to use the end of the manager's record. Actually, did I forget to update that? Hold on. I think Bochy, maybe I forgot to update it. Or never mind. I got dyslexic with that. Let me fix that note. Oh, never mind. That's what I was thinking. The man who likes to use the end of the manager's record, he could get his 1983rd win. Colorado's 83. But now we see Giants can get 73rd win on this day in history. Colorado Rockies 73. Giants, oops, it's a 51 date numerology. Okay, that could be a good one right there. And Cardinals and Athletics 70-56. Oakland Athletics is 56. Don't see anything definitive there. And Padres and Dodgers on this date. The Dodgers can get their 65th win on this date. San Diego Padres 65. That's funny that number is going to come up 3 times in this 4-game series, twice on this day in history. What are the odds of that? I think this thing is something. And so far, every game where I've seen where it's the full team name, the city, and the nickname, so far all of these games have been perfect. I'm sure eventually it won't be, but so far all of them have been. So, just one other thing to keep in mind. Nationals and D-backs, 23-24, 9-8. Isn't Arizona Diamondbacks 99? Why do I always think that? Maybe it's not. I always think that, but it's not. Okay. Alright, and Red Sox, Yankees. The Red Sox are 57-54. 59 and 47. No. Okay, well, we got something out of that. So, again, I think that's a nice, quick way to scan games. And so far, it seems to be coming through at a ratio of, I'd say, about 75% after 5 days of observation. Not bad. Okay, so it's August 4th, 2019. Keep in mind the date could be written 8448. Those are other numbers to keep in mind. 84 or 48, like 84 and 48. At the beginning of the month, when you're in these single-digit days, it seems that some games, those are the riddles they play on. But the date numerology today is 51 and 24, and 31 and 12. I just saw that the Nationals could become 24 and 24 on this day in history, I believe, with a win. But I haven't seen any patterns tracking with this day in history and date numerology. But then again, the date numerology is not real great right now, so... hard to have much faith in that. Today leaves 149 days left in the year. That's the 35th prime number. If you see some 35s out there, it's possible they could be significant. Like Philadelphia, for example, can get their 35th win today. And with regards to Philadelphia, the reason that that could matter is because Revelation, what Philadelphia is named from, is also 149. So on the day leaving 149 days left in the year, they can get their 35th home win. It does seem that more lines up for Philadelphia in this game. But again, the fact that it's the 19th game, the 8th prime, and they can get their 8th loss versus the White Sox, we just saw again in the 17th game, the 7th prime, they got their 7th loss. But like I said, in that game, more was lining up for Chicago besides just the prime number relationship. In this game, that seems to be the only thing, but it still makes me a little bit anxious. Okay. The Blue Jays and the Orioles. So, typically the Orioles play well on Saturday. They looked good to win yesterday. They did. And they don't play well on Sunday. In this period where we've been documenting this, they've only lost once on Saturday. And when they lost on that Saturday, they came back and won on the Sunday. And remember, they had a good riddle for that Sunday, too. Now, we've never looked at this day in history on a Sunday before. This is the first week we started doing this. And it is interesting that the Orioles could get their 59th win on this day in history, and Toronto Blue Jays is 59. Like I said, so far that's been a perfect pattern where it's the full name in this day in history, but we've only observed for 5 days. So by taking the Orioles, we go against our rule of assuming things won't be great for them on Sunday. That said, 59, 17th prime number. O's can get 17th home win today as well. So maybe it's there. I probably think it would be wiser to just sit and watch. Can the Orioles win a Saturday and a Sunday game? We have not seen that. So, and even though the in this day in history has been perfect with this pattern, I mean, still, you know, to get some more experience under our belt with it might be smart. The Orioles are on 17 wins versus the AL East as well. Again, Toronto Blue Jays 59, the 17th prime if they stayed parked there. So Toronto's a pretty solid favorite again, too. Okay, the Angels and the Indians. So we just saw that on this day in history, the Angels could get their 34th loss. Indians is 34. Indians could get their 58th win as well. Angels 58. First time I've seen it on both sides. The only thing is the Indians can also get their 55th loss, and Los Angeles is 55. That just played in yesterday's one of the LA game riddles yesterday with the 55. I think the Indians got their 55th win yesterday on this day in history over the Angels. So here we can actually look a little bit more at the splits. If Bieber won, he would get his 22nd career win, which stands out. Angels is 22 in the most pure cipher, so that makes sense. What else was it? If the Indians... Or hold on. The Indians could improve to 5-1 on a 51 date, and Cleveland's also 51 if you use the master numerology of V. It's 33 plus 18 more for the V, so they could improve to 5-1 at home. Cleveland's a big favorite again. The biggest concern for Cleveland to get upsets right here, that their next loss versus the AL is 41. Don't need this anymore. They got past that. And also the Indians' next loss would be 46. LA Angels is 46. That's one other thought. But very interesting how if the Indians win on this day in history, both records make perfect sense. And let's look a little bit more at the splits real quick. Korea's 0-0 with one career start versus the Indians' 5.4 ERA. And at Cleveland, that's where he had that start. So not a lot of history to go off of. And Bieber versus the Angels. All right, Bieber. He's 1-0 versus the Angels. Not bad stats. And his record in Cleveland, 7-7. Now Cleveland's 78. That didn't seem to impact the Cleveland pitcher yesterday, though. And let's take a peek at who they would pitch against next. All right, the Angels' schedule. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He'll likely face the Red Sox next. He's 10-4 right now. Angels is 104. Boston Red Sox, winners of the 114th World Series. Red Sox. His total career wins. So he faces Boston next. Boston is 22 if you went in there with 22 wins. He's at 21 career wins. Or wait, whoops, I'm getting dyslexic. That's who, never mind, take it back. That's who Berea's facing. Berea faces Boston next. Well, if he split his next two games, Boston, Massachusetts, it's in Boston, is 55. I'm not sure who's the easier opponent to beat right now. I'd say the Indians are probably playing better right now. All right, let's look at the Indians' schedule real quick. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. He'll be pitching in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Same riddle we talked about yesterday. Pitchers getting to 11-4 to pitch in Minnesota. Okay. So Moore definitely lines up for Cleveland here, especially how this day in history would make sense on both sides, and with an Indians win. Okay, the Marlins and the Rays. Again, yesterday the Rays won 8-6. Marlins 86, number that shows up around this team all the time. Chirinos with a loss today would be 8-6. So that stands out right away. And like we talked about, if the Marlins win, they get their 43rd win. Tampa Bay Rays 43. Florida's also 43. It's a Florida series. If the Rays lose, they get their 49th loss. Marlins 49. They'd also get their 26th home loss, and Miami's 27. So, to me, that's quite a bit lining up here for a Marlins upset. Let's look a little bit more at who these pitchers face next to see if we can get another clue. Marlins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Braves. If he lost to, he could be 7-6. The reflection is 67. Braves is 67. If he won, he'd be 8-4. Atlanta is on the 84th meridian. Is Cumberland, Georgia, as well, where they play? No, Atlanta is. Yeah, Cumberland is as well. And does Cumberland equal 84? Maybe it does. No, Cumberland's 93. Okay. Well, hard to say for sure with that, because I don't think Braves connect to any of the other numbers. I guess Atlanta's 48, the reflection of 84, if he was 8-4. Okay, but Chirinos can become 8-6 against the Marlins, and the Rays, who do they face next? Tomorrow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Mariners. I don't think the Mariners connect either way. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Miami Marlins is 85 as well, like how he comes in 8-5. So, I like the Marlins riddle here. The records make sense. The Chirinos falling to 8-6 makes sense. So, I'm going to stick with that thought. The Reds and the Braves. Let's see. So the Reds are on 51 wins on the 51 date numerology. Cincinnati equals 51. They're at 22 away wins. Braves is 22. If you use the exception for Braves, it's 59. I'm not sure that it matters. Some teams we've documented how the exceptions, they do show up a lot, sometimes even more than the most purest cipher. But Braves in 59, that's not a number that I've ever really noticed, any type of pattern I've realized. It does equal 59 though. And interesting that Gray can get his 59th loss as well and fall to 6-7. So that's probably where it's at. Gray probably falls to 6-7 versus the Braves. Braves is 59 with the exception. He can get the 59th loss, and Reds can get 59th loss as well. And we saw that the Reds would even be 67-59 on this day in history with an L. So that's actually pretty weird. The pitcher record, the all-time history record. Caller?
Yeah, what's going on, Zach? It's the game I wanted to talk to you about.
Okay.
The 33, Atlanta can get the home win, and the Reds can get the 33rd away loss. And then ATL, that's 33, and it's Sunday.
Okay, and so we don't jinx it. Let's just say we're huge on the Reds today then.
Yeah, we huge on the Reds. And then what I was thinking is kind of weird. Does Angels equal 59?
I know it equals 58. Let me check. I don't think it equals 59. Here, I'll pull out the reverse.
I was trying to do it, but
yeah,
okay,
it doesn't look like it
weird.
equals. It's not. Angels is not 59.
Okay, I know they play. Okay, so tomorrow they play the Angels, and then they off Tuesday and Wednesday. Like, I found that kind of strange. And then they go play the Cubs. So I don't know if you can try to sync that up and play one game against the Angels. That's weird. And then they off 2 games.
You're saying
so
the Angels schedule?
Kind of
The Angels schedule's what's weird?
No, the Reds.
The Reds.
Schedule. So I was trying to see if a loss can sync it up with either the Cubs. They start Thursday, or the one game tomorrow, which they play the Angels.
That must be a makeup game tomorrow.
Gotta be.
Yeah, they play. They have a two.
On some weird.
They have a okay. Yeah, so they play Monday and Tuesday versus the Angels. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so 2-game series there, and then into the Cubs. Okay. All right, I'll think about it. Yeah, maybe there's something there. All right, appreciate it. Okay. So the fact that they do play the where'd the Reds go? That would be the one prayer for the Reds right there to win today, is to go into that Los Angeles series on 58 losses, because Angels is 58. But I don't. It's a lot of times teams come in one number off too, and a lot more is lining up for the home team in this one. I hope you guys got the joke I just made with him a minute ago, where I said don't jinx it, and I said we're big on the Reds. I was being sarcastic about that. But if the Reds do have a prayer today, I would say it's going into the Angels series next on those 58 losses. But it does not look. That doesn't look good for them. So let me take a peek at who these guys pitch against next. And here, let me think more about his question too. So their record right now is 51-58. If they beat Los Angeles in both games, they could get to 53 wins. Los Angeles is 53. And I don't see how any of these numbers would end up syncing up with the Cubs series at first. No, I don't really see anything with the Cubs series there. I see how if they won today, they'd only have to win one against Los Angeles to get to 53. But there's a chance they could beat the Angels in both games, especially the way the Angels are playing right now. They're playing atrocious. So, okay. All right, let me check who these guys pitch against next. I don't know why I didn't just use that last screen. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Gray will face the Cubs. We know about Chicago and the 77 neighborhood areas. That's about the only thing that I could think of if he split his next 2 games. That could go either way, though, so that's not going to be clear for today. And then the Braves schedule. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Marlins. Well, all I could say about that is if he lost, he'd be 6-8. Miami Marlins does have that 68 connection as well, the reflection at 86. So the Reds have a couple riddles on the board, but I'm leaning towards the home team with the overall flow of it. Whoops. Miami Marlins equals 68. Marlins equals 86. So. Oh, shit. I actually see one more thing here. I actually see one more prayer for the Reds. The more I look at this, the more I'm seeing actually there are some things with the Reds. Cincinnati Reds is 70. I'm seeing that Teheran could get his 70th career loss. Let me check his splits with this team real quick. What's the record here? The Braves are 3-3 versus the Reds this year, 2-1 at home. The Braves are on 62 wins right now versus the NL. Reds is 62. They're also on 66 wins. Cincinnati 66. I got to look at the splits here for these guys. This game actually might be more than meets the eye. Sonny Gray. Braves. He's 0-2 versus the Braves in 3 starts. And 0-1 in Atlanta. And Tehran versus the Reds. That one pattern we looked at first, though, with the Reds' potential loss, it was amazing how all of that lined up. That still just seems like the strongest riddle going. Tehran's 3-4 versus the Reds. He could become 4-4, just like how Keuchel yesterday became 4-4 for the season. Reds is 44 as well. And his record at Atlanta, 24-16 at home. Today has 24 date numerology. How far is Dayton from Cincinnati and Cleveland? Since they had the shooting yesterday, you know, Texas had a shooting, and then the Astros do this remarkable thing. Dayton to Cincinnati. What city is it closer to? 54 miles from Dayton to Cincinnati. Okay, Dayton's north of there. And Dayton to Cleveland, that's further away then. Yeah. So it's actually closer to Cincinnati, but the only game in Ohio today is the one in Cleveland. Again, I'm just talking about Texas shooting yesterday, Astros with the combined team no-hitter on Houston Astros Hall of Fame Day. By the way, again, no-hitters 46, Houston, Texas is 46. Shooting is 46. Last time they had one, it was the Tyler Skaggs riddle against Seattle, and that same day that they had the one against Seattle, Seattle had a 4.6 earthquake, supposedly. Okay. Well, this game is trickier than I first thought. Reds play Angels next. Angels equals 58. Could stay on 58 losses. But this right here, the Gray does not have a good history against this team. With a loss, his record would be just perfect. And also that thing about this day in history, it is using the exception. And there was a day already that came across, I think it was in this Reds series already, where we saw the Reds could, I forget how it was. There was a 59, though, and it didn't come through. Again, that's the Braves exception one, so... All right, let's keep it moving. We got games starting soon here. Okay, Mets and Pirates. If Syndergaard loses today, he will be 7-6. We talked about this yesterday. It looked like the Mets had the better riddle yesterday, and we were talking about how they might split today and tomorrow, because then Pittsburgh could get to 39 wins versus the NL, that big New York number. What did it delete? New York equals 39. Where'd that go? So Pittsburgh could get their 39th win over the NL with a W today. This is a note from yesterday. My biggest concern about the Pirates is that they're on 24 home wins, and Mets equals 24, and it's a 24 day. Pirates on 24 home wins. Mets equals 24. 24 date. Let's look at the numbers a little bit more. Remember, we just saw the tribute 2 days ago between the Yankees and the Pirates for the death of Joe Thurman. Or not Joe Thurman. Why can't I think? Thurman Munson. Thurman Munson, who was sacrificed that year for the Pirates World Series. He died 76 days before the conclusion of that World Series, won by Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh 76. His full name equaled 84. The Pirates won 8-4 the other day. The Yankees picked up their 69th win and 40th home win. Thurman Lee Munson 69 and 84. It was the 40-year anniversary of his death. So remember, New York, Pittsburgh connected those things. And now I'm just thinking about how Syndergaard can get to 7-6 in this same series where this has been going on. Syndergaard splits. Let's see here. Okay. Pirates. He's 1-1 versus the Pirates with a 1.77 ERA in 3 starts, so he's been good against them in history. How about at their field? 0-1 at their field with a 2.25 ERA, 2 starts. So not bad. Even though we got the loss, still pretty good. And let's see, Musgrove versus the Mets. Uh, 1-1 versus the Mets with a sub-1 ERA. Man, he's been nice against them too. And at his home stadium, 8-10. 8-10. It's going to be his 24th start. Okay. There was something I was overlooking. If the Pirates did win, they'd be 2-4 versus the Mets on the year. To play devil's advocate, if they lost, Pirates equals 47 15th prime. They could be 1-5. But again, I like that the Pittsburgh team can get their 39th win versus the National League. We know how big that is with New York. And Syndergaard can get to 7-6. Here, the one other thing I need to check is who they play next. To see if we get anything out of their records with the next opponent. One, two, three, four, 5. Well, Syndergaard, if he did lose, he'd have a chance to become 7-7 versus the Nationals. We know about Washington, D.C. in 77. That game's not in D.C., however. If you got a no decision, 1, 2, 3, no. Well, he'd play the Royals next. Kansas City's 67, the reflection. Kansas City's also 86. Kansas City Royals is 86. All right, Pirates schedule. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pirates, Cardinals. Pirates, Cardinals, Musgrove. Pirates. Joe Musgrove's 57, like Mets, like New York Mets, huh? Yeah, I gotta take the Pirates in this one. The Syndergaard 7-6. Making some sense to me. And there's that 39th win versus the NL. I like that too. So, seem to be the better riddles. Callaway, it would also be his 84th day of his age. I should mention that. Pittsburgh Pirates is 84. They just won 8-4 the other day on the death of Thurman Lee Munson, 84. And usually that's not a good sign for the team that it lines up with, but not always. Still think the Pirates riddle's a little bit better there. The Mariners are pitching one of their middle relievers today. I imagine he won't pitch deep into the game. It's his first career start. Verlander, the riddle that could go against him is that Mariners is 43, the 14th prime number. He could get his 14th loss with Houston. He could stay on 14 wins on the season. I wouldn't put too much stock in that, especially the way the Mariners have been getting destroyed in this series. Oh my God, have we seen a line at 400? So, the Mariners are at 38 losses in the AL West. Astros is 38, and it's a 24 day. They'd be a huge multiplier today, but they had a good riddle that game one with a giant line against them, and they did not play well. So I have no faith in them right now. That first riddle was too good that they squandered. All right, Royals and Twins. Odorizzi. Let's see. He could get his 13th win of the season. KC's 13. TC's 13. What's on the caps of both teams. And he's at 59 career wins. Kansas City Royals is 59. If he stayed there. So this is the big one. The Twins are 8-3 versus the Royals. They got to 8-3 on August 3rd. The Royals became 3-8 versus the Twins. Minnesota is 38. If the Twins lost today, they'd be 8-4 versus the Royals on August 4th. And the other thing is Minnesota Twins equals 84. So it could make some sense. But the other thing to consider is this. You know, Minneapolis is that very 93 city. Minneapolis, Minnesota equals 93 on 93rd Meridian. So with the win there, 9-3, which is now to the question. But I just wonder, yesterday 8-3, today 8-4, Minnesota Twins is 84. If I'm mixing up parlay cards today, I'm doing one with the Royals, one of the low bet cards just as a multiplier. The Twins would be 63-36 versus the AL if they lost. Royals is 36. The Twins, their next loss versus the AL Central is 14. We know KC's 14. We saw that number come up huge in the Toronto Royals series. And if the Royals did win, they'd be 36-67 versus the American League. That's interesting because Royals is 36 and Kansas City 67. So their AL record would be perfect. Matter. The other thing that could go against the Royals today, though, you know, again, this is why they're a low bet team for me on a high payout risk reward card. If they lose today, they will get their 38th loss away in Minnesota's 38. So that's another important point. Cubs got it done yesterday. Hauser, if he lost today, he would be 4-5 on the season. Wrigley is 45. Cubs is 45. Brewers is 45. Illinois is 45. Remember when the Cubs won the World Series? They hadn't been in it since 1945. Major League's 45. So that's one thing. If Darvish won today, he would be 4-5. Brewers does equal 36 as well. Brewers is 36 and 45. Hold on. I got to go back to the Royals-Twins game for a second. I forgot to look at who these teams play next, so let me do that real quick. The Royals got the Red Sox next, and I don't see anything with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tigers. Face the Tigers next. Tigers. The game's in Detroit. Yeah, I don't think there's anything there with that. Royals can probably be at 44 wins by the time they're done with the Detroit series. Detroit's 44. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They'd have to go 4-8 in their next games. Okay. This guy on the mound for the Twins, wait a minute. That's not who it was this morning. Hold on, I realized they switched the pitcher on me. Let me see what's up with this Devin Smeltzer. I hate when they do this. Evan Smeltzer, number 31. All right, hold on. Let's fix this. Number 31, Smeltzer is 0-1. For the season. It's his birthday. September 7th. Let's see. It's 331 days after his birthday. That's the 67th prime number. Kansas City 67. Okay. Twins' first win of this series was number 67. I wonder if this guy will even pitch in the next game. Okay, so they swapped him out. Okay. Again, the Royals' riddle to win is right here. August 4th, the Twins falling to 8-4 versus the Royals, Minnesota Twins 84. So, definitely a risk-reward pick. Unclear game, but a chance of an upset. All right, let's look at the splits here with Darvish versus the Brewers. Hauser doesn't have much history. Darvish versus the Brewers. 0-1 versus the Brew Crew with a 2.12 ERA in 3 starts. So he's pitched well, just hasn't gotten the run support. And what's his record at home? God, 1-6 at home. Man. Darvish is 0-1 versus Brewers. 1-6 at home. Milwaukee's 53, the 16th prime, but doesn't really matter today. Okay, let's check Hauser versus the Cubs. Cubs 1-0, 2.35 ERA, and 0-0 at Wrigley Field with a 6.0 ERA. So the Cubs got the Athletics tomorrow. If they lost, they'd go into the Oakland series on 59 wins. Oakland Athletics 277, the 59th prime. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Darvish is going to face the Reds next. Cincinnati's 40, or Reds is 46. If he won today and lost that next one in Cincinnati, he could be 4-6. Let's see. And Hauser, who does he face next? Brewers got the Pirates tomorrow. Pittsburgh's 58. Right, let me note this. So if the Brewers don't win, I'm sure they'll pick up their 58th win against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's also 59. They could win 2 in that series. But if the Cubs didn't win, they would go into Oakland on 59. We know that number plays with them too. It's just so many teams going one number off. It's hard to put much weight on that. The pitcher records make the most sense with the Cubs win here today. And the Brewers, they could get their 24th loss on the NL Central on the 24 day, but it is Sunday. It is the day that patterns break. Let's go back and look at yesterday's score. Cubs won 4-1. 41 the 13th prime, M the 13th letter. They won 6-2, so they're up 10-3 in the series. 103 27th prime, Cubs 27. Uh-oh. Blue Jays look like they're going to jump up on the Orioles. Okay. The Cubs' next loss is 45. Brewers is 45. Cubs is 45. Wrigley's 45. What did I just say? The Cubs' next loss versus the NL is what I meant to say. So the 45th against the Brewers could make some sense. The Brewers are on 46 losses in the NL. Again, Chicago's 46. Chicago Cubs is 46. They didn't lose anymore. It's on TBS. What's TBS? Anything? 41, 40, 22. These numbers don't matter. Brewers are on 24 away wins. Is their game tomorrow at Pittsburgh? So tomorrow's a date with 25 numerology. They could get their 25th away win on the 25 date. Again, we're still waiting for the date numerology to get on track. I forget. Was Darvish at Cincinnati for his next start? Yeah, at Cincinnati. So if he won today, good record for Cubs. Yeah, that one's actually pretty tight, but I think it's a little bit better for the Cubbies. So, trying to make a statement, battling for the top. All right, Tigers and Rangers. I said before the series began, I'd take the Rangers to win it. Probably not a tremendous payout, but it seemed like it made a lot of sense for the Tigers to get to 74 losses. They're there. Texas Rangers equals 74. If they won, they'd do that 33-74 thing. Tigers is 33. Zimmerman is 1-8 on the season. Pretty sure he won in his last decision against the Angels. 107 is the 28th prime, and Rangers equals 107. So he could become 2-8 versus the Rangers. It's Payano. Not a lot to go off there. It's 73 days after Zimmerman's birthday, or his 74th day of his age. Texas Rangers is 74. 311 days after Payano's the 64th prime. Let's see here. The Rangers are 5-0 versus the Tigers this year, 2-0 at home. It is a 51 date numerology if they fell to 5-1. Let's take a peek at Zimmerman's splits. See if he's got anything with the Rangers history. Whoops. All right, Rangers. He's 1-2 versus the Rangers with a 3.0 ERA. What about in Texas? I don't understand why this isn't alphabetized. Seems like a real simple thing they could do. Has he somehow never pitched there? Why do I not see Texas? Maybe he has never pitched there. Yeah, it appears he has not. Okay. So 1-2 versus the Rangers. Okay. Let's see who he faces next. Brewers. Wait a minute. Rangers face Cleveland next. Is that at home? No. Cleveland Indians. Okay, we'll see it. Tiger schedule. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At home versus the Royals. 2, 8, 1. Well, if he lost, he'd be 1-9. Kansas City 67, the 19th prime. Okay. Yeah, there's not a great clue for this game. It's hard to have much faith in the Tigers. Again, if you're putting together one of those low bet, high risk reward type of games, maybe take the Tigers as a multiplier on the flyer that Zimmerman does become 2-8 on the season because Rangers is 107, the 28th prime. But if you already took the Tigers to lose the series, Rangers to win, you might just be happy with that. The Giants and Rockies. The gentleman from New York who really likes the end of a manager's record if it has a connection to the date or the team. I have been paying attention to this. It's been hit and miss like a lot of things in baseball, but it does seem like since I've been paying attention to it, it does happen more often than not. So Bochy today, if he won, he'd get his 1983rd win. And the 83 is the part that matters because Colorado's 83. So that does jump out. Bede comes in 3-5 to face the Rockies. Rockies 35. That makes sense. If he won, he'd be 4-6 for his career. Rockies is 35 and 46, so he could get to 4-6 coming in 3-5. And we're gonna have to look at the games ahead to see if anything makes sense. I don't see anything really with Freeland. The Giants have a chance at their 51st win on the 51-date numerology. They did pick up 50 yesterday on the 50-date numerology, so a chance it plays again today. Of course, San Francisco's is 50. It's the more symbolic number. We also saw the Giants could get the 73rd win on this day in history. We've only been following this for 5 days, but patterns like this have been coming through at a high rate so far. So even though we have the limited experience of watching it, right now it seems to be something that's a pretty good indicator. So Giants getting that 73rd win, Colorado Rockies 73. That does make some sense. And let's just take a peek here. So things we have going for the Giants. This day in history, possibly the 51st win versus the NL on the 51 date. And the end of the Bochy record, the 1983rd win, Colorado 83. Bede also becoming 4-6 versus the Rockies. But let's see who they face next. today. Wait. They play the Nationals next. If the Giants won, they'd go into the Nationals series with 57 wins. Nationals is 57. Giants play Nationals next. Nationals equals 57. So, chance they could do that. But then the pitcher, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, should face the Phillies next. And Phillies is 45 in both reduction ciphers, so that's a good sign for Bede as well. Bede will face Phillies next. Phillies. Again, both reduction ciphers. Phillies is 45. Major League 45. All right, let's check it out from the Rockies angle. See if we can get anything here conflicting or maybe some more confirmation. The Rockies play the Astros next. Is that at home or away? Away. So I don't see anything too great. Houston Astros is 51, isn't it? Houston Astros is 51. So if the Rockies didn't win, they'd go into the Astros series on 51. Rockies play Astros next. Houston Astros is 51 on 51 wins. All right, so I'd say just more and more is lining up for the Giants here. And the Rockies pitcher, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he'll face the Padres next. I don't see anything too... It doesn't really go with Padres. Padres is 36. Padres is 36, actually. I take it back. Wait, no, never mind. Doesn't matter. Still doesn't matter. Padres is 27. Okay, that's actually the one thing that... Alright, hold on. Freeland faces Padres next. Padres 27. He's on 27 career losses. So it's about the only prayer there for the Rockies for Freeland to stay on 27, but he could do that with a no decision. Quite a bit pointing to Giants there. Cardinals and Athletics. Wainwright's coming in with 155 career wins. Oakland Athletics is 155. See, Schultz next wins 100. I don't normally do things like this, but I know that if you write out 100, it equals 34. Like Athletics is 34. We just talked about that with the start of the 100th NFL season. There's a guy who calls me, and this is how he decodes every day. He decodes. He said he decodes the gematria of the numbers in the pitcher records and makes his calls that way. But the one thing I do like about St. Louis today is getting that 59th win, because Oakland Athletics is 277, the 59th prime. I suppose they'd stay on 51 losses on a 51 date. I guess the Athletics could get the 24th home loss on the 24 date, but the date numerology is not kicking, so... I'm going to document it anyway, just in case it does. It does line up on both sides. And that Cardinals 59th win just makes sense. Wainwright comes in with the amount of wins that corresponds with the team name for Oakland. Doesn't mean he'll have to stay on it. 1, 2, 3. Well, let me think about that first. We'll play the Dodgers next. Dodgers Stadium is 59. Cardinals are playing at the Dodgers next. Caller?
Yeah, I'm ready to disarm America today.
Yeah?
As you said yesterday.
Yeah.
Are you doing sports right now?
I'm doing sports right now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I just seen the video. I didn't know if that was a live video or not. I'll probably call back on Wednesday or something. I don't know.
All right, give me a call later. Take care, man.
All right.
See you.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So Cardinals face Dodgers next. Dodger Stadium equals 59. Next win is number 59. Okay. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Pirates. Well, what's tricky about that is Pirates is 88. If Wainwright splits today, this game and the next game, he could get to 8-8 versus the Pirates. So that's a little bit tricky there. All right, how about Rourke? Tanner Rourke making his debut with Oakland. That is right. This is his first game. Tanner Rourke. Yeah, first game with Oakland here. So what's he going to do in his debut? One, two, three, four, five. Chicago, that 77 neighborhoods area thing. White Sox. The Cubs tomorrow. Is there anything about that in Chicago? Do Cubs have that 63 connection? Cubs does have the 63 connection. Okay. If the A's lost, they'd go... Okay. A's play Cubs tomorrow. Cubs equals 63. A's can stay on 63 winnings. So yeah, I'm going to stick with the thought about the Cardinals picking up one there. You got the date numerology on both sides, even though it's not hitting. We haven't seen many games where it's lined up on both sides recently. So I'm going to stick with that. And then Padres and Dodgers. Again, I'm not going to change my thought here about the Dodgers winning 3 out of 4 and getting to 74-43. San Diego 74-43. But I will say this. Well, first of all, if Paddock loses, he'll be 7-6. Dodger Stadium is 76. The one thing that could go against the Dodgers is Maeda. If he lost, he'd become 7-9. San Diego Padres is 79, and he could get his 36th loss as well. Padres, if I'm not mistaken, is 36. Let me double check that. So Padres, yeah, 36. San Diego Padres, 79. So Maeda does have a few things that are concerning, but I like the team record the most. The 74-43. I mean, how perfect is that? There's only one city in the whole nation that's 74-43, and it's San Diego. So I'll also note that California is 88. California teams have made a one. Dodgers, big year for them, 88, the last time they won the World Series. Last year, the season began on the 88th day of the year. Last year was the earliest start in baseball history. We also saw that the Dodgers can get their 65th win on this day in history, and San Diego Padres is 65. So this is the other concern for the Dodgers. If they lost, they'd be 5-5 at home. Los Angeles is 55. They could also become 7-6 versus the Padres at Dodger Stadium, but I like the head-to-head record, 74-43. And here, let's just see who these guys pitch against next. Tomorrow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Diamondbacks. I don't think that they have a connection to either number. No. How many total wins does he have? I'll look at the splits here in a second too, just to get a little bit more information. And the Dodgers. We got the Cardinals tomorrow, that's right. So the Dodgers' next win is 74. St. Louis is, well, you know what? I'm wrong about. That's funny. So there's two cities actually in Major League Baseball that have the 74 and 43 connection. San Diego 74 and 43 with the base ciphers. That's what I was thinking. But St. Louis is 74 and 25 here, but it's got the two S's. So with the rule, it's also 43. That's funny that they host St. Louis next. Okay. So they could start with the perfect record. If they did get beat, they could pick up that 74 and 43 against St. Louis. I still like it better with San Diego. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, yeah, I don't see it with the Diamondbacks. Padres. Who do they play next? The Mariners. Mariners is 52. Seattle Mariners is 62 if they lost some to the Mariners. Playing in Seattle. 2-game series. The only way they could get to 62 losses versus the Mariners is if they lost today. And Meta, his splits. Padres. He can become 7. Oh yeah, we talked about this. So Meta can become 7 and 4 or 6 and 5. Meta is 6 and 4 versus Padres. San Diego 74. So he could become 7 and 4 on the day the Dodgers get their 74th win. But the thing is, San Diego Padres is also 65 if he became 6 and 5. But 7 and 4 on the day the Dodgers get their 74th win. And then keep in mind today's Sunday, you know, it's the Christian Church Day, Jesus, Cross, Messiah, Gospel, Parables, they're all 74. So let's see Paddock versus the Dodgers. Oops, what am I doing? Did I do a splits? Dodgers 0-1. Not a bad ERA through 2 starts. He's pitched well against them. And 0-1 at the stadium. Both of his games have been there. He has pitched well, but hasn't got that W yet. Okay. Caller?
Hey, Zach, sorry I'm a little bit late, as usual. You got any This Day in History picks today?
Yeah, so Here, just real quick for the This Day in History games. So, hold on. Let me make sure I hit them all here. So, the Orioles, let's see what the Orioles are doing. It looked like they were going to get in a hole early. It's tied right now. I have not seen the Orioles win on Saturday and Sunday. Haven't seen that happen yet. But if they did win today, they would get their 59th win on This Day in History, and Toronto Blue Jays is 59. So I'm keeping an eye on that. Okay. It has been a really good indicator so far, but I mean, I just wonder about that one. I'm like, man, the Orioles, can they win both games on the weekend? If there was a team they could do it against, the Blue Jays would be one. So that's one of them. Hold on, there's some more. The Reds have a chance to become 67 and 59 on This Day in History, and Braves is 67 and 59. You have to use the exception to get that 59 for Braves, but what's weird about that is the starting pitcher for the Reds, if he lost today, he'd become 6 and 7 like Braves is 67, and he'd get his 59th career loss too, so that's interesting. Hold on, there's some more. Let's see.
Did you see on the ESPN site, they had the fight between Nolan Ryan and, they had this day in history on their site, on the main page.
I'll have to look that up. So today, Nolan Ryan got in a fight in history?
Yeah, it was him versus Fernandez, I think.
Was that when he was still on the Rangers?
Was it on the what? I'm sorry?
Was Nolan Ryan pitching for the Texas Rangers when that happened?
Yes. It was the Rangers versus, I think it was Toronto. It was Nolan Ryan. Yeah, Nolan Ryan pummels Robin Ventura.
Okay. Okay. I'll take a look at that when I get through these things. The Giants today can get their 73rd win on This Day in History. Colorado Rockies equals 73. And there's quite a bit of things that line up for the Giants. The date numerology lines up for a Giants win and a Rockies loss. The pitcher records make sense that the Giants win, so that one's definitely intriguing. The Cardinals and Athletics, or no, never mind, that's not This Day in History, I take it back. The Dodgers, if they won today, they'd get their 65th win on This Day in History. San Diego Padres is 65. And that's it for This Day in History.
Okay, excellent. All right, well, just check on that ESPN homepage. There's This Day in History MLB thingamajig on there, too.
Okay, yeah, I'll check that out.
All right, thank you.
All right, I see the White Sox are up big on the Phillies early. And what were we saying about that game? Hold on. I think I was crazy about that one. Yeah, so what was worrying me is it was the 19th game, the 8th prime, and the Phillies could get their 8th loss versus the White Sox, just like how in the 17th game, the 7th prime, they got their 7th loss. So, usually when you see a pattern show up in a series, whether it's the record or something with the manager or the pitchers, typically that pattern will follow for the series. It is Sunday, though. It is the day where a lot of patterns break, so that's why I was iffy about that game. But the White Sox stay up. There it was. Prime numbers in both games in the series. Rays are up on the Marlins early. Uh-oh. Come on, Marlins. Let's see here. Okay, where were we in the thing? All right, we're about to get in the Nationals-Diamondbacks game. So the Diamondbacks got the Nationals yesterday. And, hold on, where's my notes for that game? All right, so Corbin. What stands out about Corbin today is if he wins, he's 10-5. Nationals is 105, so is Arizona. You got a double 105 connection with Corbin. So that stands out huge right away. And if the Diamondbacks manager lost, he'd get his 57th career loss. Nationals is 57. That stands out. If the Diamondbacks lost today, they'd get their 51st loss versus the National League on a 51 date, and the Nationals would get their 51st win. So Wait, I do got to play devil's advocate here to one thing. Diamondbacks is also 96 if Corbin lost. But you have the overlap with 105. You got the date numerology on both sides in the National League standings. You got Lavulo picking up his 57th loss. It's just that one little thing. And it does only take one narrative to make something go sideways. But I still like the Nationals today. Let's just see who these guys pitch against next. See if we can get one more thing here. All right, Nationals got the Giants tomorrow. I don't see anything too big with that, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Corbin will face the New York Mets next, and I don't think they have a connection to these numbers. Is that game in New York? In New York. All right, so there's nothing definitive there about that. Let me think about Corbin's stats a little bit more. Here, we can check Corbin's splits real quick with the Diamondbacks all time too. Really? He's never faced Arizona before? All these starts? Huh. That's really interesting. He's pitched at the location. Hold on. Oh, I guess that makes sense why he's never faced him, because he pitched for Arizona his whole career, so he's facing his old team. Okay. What is his record there? I want to look at that again. $30-27. Washington Nationals is 107, the 28th prime. That's about the only other thing I could say. And then let's look at the Diamondbacks real quick. Diamondbacks. Phillies. Most of them are Phillies. I don't see anything with who they play next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Clark lost. Well, he faced. If he lost, he'd be 4-4, and he could face the Dodgers. Dodgers is 45. If he won, he could be 5-3. Los Angeles is 53. Let's see. So you could make an argument for him either way, but again, you got Corbin. If he does hit 10-5, that's the overlap number. Nationals and Arizona can make an argument for him to become 9-6. But you got Lavulo. It would make a lot of sense for him to get his 57th loss versus this team. And then you got the date numerology on both sides for the NL record. So if the Nationals win. So I'm going to lean Nationals for that game. And let's see here. Red Sox, Yankees. Last time David Price faced the Yankees on... Hold on. Was that game in... I know the last time he faced the Yankees on Sunday Night Baseball, it was 85 days from his birthday. And his team won 8-5. It was 85 days from his upcoming birthday. It was Sunday Night Baseball. I know because I was watching it with my dad. And my dad was even like, "Yeah, this does look rigged," because the right fielder for the Yankees, he was playing like a 6-year-old his first time on the baseball field. I mean, that's the way I'd describe it. If you watch that game, the NBA playoffs were going on, so most people probably didn't see it, but the right fielder pretty much gave up all 8 runs in the game. Hold on, where was this game at? Could have been this one. Yeah, this was it right here, 8-5. June 2nd. How many days ago was that game? June 2nd, too. You'd think that's where teams fall on their number, right? Because Yankees is 26, 2-6 date. Let's see. 63 days later, or a span of 64 days. Major League 63. That Yankees player looked like the right fielder of the Cleveland Indians in the film Major League that last game. All right. David Price could improve to 8-4 on August 4th. We've seen the Yankees dish out a lot of 84 this year. Again, United States of America's 84. The Yankees probably the most symbolic American team there is. All right. August 4th or 8-4. Hap could get his 89th loss, 89 24th prime. It's a 24 date, but it's hard to put much stock in the date numerology, especially when you're working through the prime number relationship. We're going to have to look more at the splits here. The Yankees' next loss versus the AL is 33. New York's 33. They're on 32. Boston 32. So this game doesn't have as interesting of a birthday alignment with Price. However, actually, you know what? 22 days to his upcoming birthday. Boston's 22. So actually, it is almost as interesting. Last time it was 85 days. This time it's 22. Huh. It's funny how they do that. Boston's next away win is 33. New York's 33. You know they're hungry for a win. The Boston, their next win versus the AL is 57 as well. New York City 57. Cora's next win's 168. New York City's also 168. His next loss, however, is 109, and Yankees is 109. That's not out of the question. 167 is the 39th prime. We know New York's 39. So if Cora lost, actually, he'd be 167 and 109. 167 connects to 39 New York. 109's Yankees. Yeah, we're going to have to look more at the splits here. Price. Yankees. 43rd start, the 14th prime. He's on 14 losses. Price is 16 and 14 versus Yankees. 43rd start, 14th prime. Let's see what he is for this year alone, too. He's 1-0 versus the Yankees this year in one start. New York's the 11th state. Okay. I see something with Hap if he lost. 157, 37th prime Yankees, 37. He's 15 and 6 with the Yankees. So if he lost, he'd be 15 and 7. Okay. One more thing I want to look at with Price, his all-time record against the Yankees. Whoops. He's 9-8 at Yankee Stadium. 9-8 at Yankee Stadium. Major Leagues 108. TB. All right, let's look at hap splits now. Boston. 9-4 against Boston. Versus Boston. What about at Yankee Stadium? 13-7. You know, 147 is one of those World Series numbers. How many days is it from the World Series today? October 22nd, 2019. 79 days. New York Yankees. I forget, is it 79 in reverse? No, it's not. Boston Red Sox. Boston Red Sox is 64. It's a span of 64 days from that last. Oh shit, I forgot to look. One thing I wanted to check in that. David Price. One thing I wanted to check about that. Right here. Yank 2. What happened on June 1st? Yankees won. Is there 31 days in May? I can't think. 31? Yankees won that one. So the Yankees, was there a game before that? Postponed. So the Yankees won 2 and then lost that last game on a Sunday. Again, there's something to the Yankees playing bad on Sunday. They're at 71 wins right now. Boston Red Sox is 71, just like how they're 7-1 at home against them. I know there's something bad to the Yankees playing bad on Sunday just because how often my dad complains about how the Yankees lost again on the day he gets to watch. It's the one day of the week that he has off where he can watch the game. It does seem like things are looking a bit better here for... And by the way, Sunday is 33. I'm not crazy about the day of the week and the Gematria values, you know, but Sunday does equal 33 if the Red Sox are going to pick up their 33rd win and in New York. Yankees can stay on 71 wins. Boston Red Sox equals 71. Let's see who they face next. Sox got the Royals next. Kansas City Royals is 59, and Kansas City's 32. Are they playing them away? No, at home. They could stay on 59 to face the Royals, though. Red Sox face Royals next. Kansas City Royals equals 59 on 59 wings. And David Price, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Los Angeles Angels is 85, just like Boston Red Sox. So David Price splitting his next 2 games, I would say, is highly probable to be 8 and 5 versus the Angels. And you'd think that the more winnable game would be at home versus the Angels. Let me see what his splits are with the Angels real quick. Because the Yankees could want to send a statement right here because they got beat up good in Boston. It's kind of how they go with this series, the back and forth. 7 and 7 versus the Angels. Okay, let's see. Price faces Angels next. Los Angeles Angels equals 85. Austin equals 85. Red Sox equals 85. So that makes me think he will get a decision today. And if he won, the Angels would probably be a nice payout the next game as underdogs. But that's got to happen. Both teams with the 85 connection. Let's see about the Yankees here. Yankees got the Orioles next. Is that at home? No, that's at Baltimore. So that means away they're 29 and 21. Baltimore Orioles, and that's Baltimore's 41. I have trouble imagining them losing 2 to the Orioles. They did struggle against the Orioles last year, but not so much this year. Yeah, what's up, Izzy?
Hey, Seth. So, that Yankees game, Red Sox, it's kind of similar, like the mirror opposite of what happened in Boston, in Fenway Park. Boston won the first 3 and lost the last one.
Right.
This series, Yankees won the first 3 and lost, and I don't know about this one, but it seems like a mirror image. And not only that, like I said, my way of doing this is a little more abstract. It's about the percentage, and the percentage of a team to win the sweep a 4-game series. It's it's always usually the team wins at least 1 game. That's how the percentage are.
Right. It's tough to sweep a 4-game series. This is very true.
Okay. And also, not only that, the doubleheader. The Yankees swept them, so it's even hard for usually a team split the doubleheader. So
well, what did we say yesterday? Yesterday we said it made sense for them to win both games on the Tom Brady tribute.
I know, but I'm just saying the percentages, the odds. Usually it's like the percentage of if you do average all games out, usually most teams they split the series usually. But so I was just saying, also one of the players, the Seattle player, Encarnacion, he's injured. One of the Yankees' top, that they traded for. He hurt his wrist.
Who's that? Who's hurt?
Encarnacion.
Oh, from the Mariners. Okay. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so he got sent to the DL. One last thing also. So I got a small lean on the Red Sox to win, but you do your research. And I got another thing also. There was the UFC fight yesterday in New York, New Jersey, and the main event was Kobe Covington, and they made it somehow they made it political. He was talking about the announcer was like, oh, he's the first UFC fighter to visit the White House, and and then after the fight, he won the main event. He was a big favorite. He won the fight, and guess who was in ringside along him? The 2 Trump brothers, sons.
Huh.
So yeah, and this is how kind of the mood. I watched the fight, and throughout the fight, the whole crowd was rooting for the underdog, for Lawler, not for Covington.
Huh.
And he was talking after the fight, interview, and even the fans were booing, and he was like, you can hear the fans booing him.
Very interesting.
And I read the article also. This was a non-title fight, and he received a call from Trump thanking him for winning the fight, congratulating for winning the fight, a non-title fight.
Huh.
So yeah, I'm gonna just leave you to that, but something you look into it. All right.
All right. Appreciate it, Izzy. Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Okay. So Hap's gonna face the Blue Jays next, and I don't think they got any connection either. Yeah, so the Yankees have not played well on Sunday. The last time they faced David Price on Sunday Night Baseball, they got humiliated. I remember that game. I don't remember everything about it perfectly, but I remember there were a few other things that looked good for Boston in that game. I feel like this one's a little bit... Again, Cora's record, you can make sense of it with a win or a loss. If he did lose, though, his wins and losses would be a tribute to the Yankees. I usually don't like the Sunday Night Baseball games. There's been some here and there, but the Red Sox do win. They do get that 33rd away win in New York. We have seen a lot of 33 play in New York. And also just looking at David Price, the fact that if he splits his next two games, he's 8-5. Again, I mean, he could lose his next game. His next game's at home against the Angels. Again, Boston 85, Red Sox 85, and Los Angeles Angels 85. It seems that that's the lot more winnable game if he's going to win one and lose one in his next two. He could blow the game against the Angels. I mean, you just never know what's going to happen in rigged baseball, but you're just thinking that, okay, he's going to win one and lose one. Which is the one that he's more likely to win here? We did see that he had a 7-7 record against the Angels, so he hasn't dominated them or anything. But, okay, let's just review the games. I'll let you make up your mind on that Sunday Night Baseball. It looks like the White Sox-Phillies game is taking the prime number relationship with the series record again. In the 17th game, the White Sox win, giving the Phillies their 7th loss. This is the 19th game, the 8th prime. The Phillies can get their 8th loss all time. The Orioles are up on the Blue Jays. So this is what we were saying, man. Could this be the time that the Orioles win Saturday and Sunday? We saw that on this day in history, which is looking like a good piece of thing to work with. The Orioles can get their 59th win on this day in history, and Toronto Blue Jays is 59. And like I said, so far, every single one of these we've seen where it's this day in history and it matches the city and the team nickname, it's perfect so far. So if the Orioles win, this trend will continue, and I think this will be the first time this year the Orioles have won on a Saturday and Sunday if they do it. The O's can also get their 17th home win in this game like we talked about. Toronto Blue Jays 59, the 17th prime, so still a lot of game left, but this day in history, man, it might be the new way to pick games. The Indians are up on the Angels. We talked about how if the Indians win, they'd get their 58th win on this day in history, and the Angels would get their 34th loss on this day in history. Indians 34, so perfect team to get the 34th loss against. Angels 58, perfect team to get the 58th win against. What made this a little bit different, though, is the Indians could also get their 55th loss, and Los Angeles is 55. But the way it would line up for this day in history on both sides is with the Indians win. They're up early. Berea hasn't pitched well against the Indians historically. The Rays are up on the Marlins right now, but I wouldn't give up on the Marlins. I think the Marlins do have a shot to win this game. The riddle was largely through Chirinos becoming 8-6 because Marlins is 86, just like how the Rays beat the Marlins 8-6 yesterday. The win-losses are still there if the Marlins win. They'd get their 43rd win. Tampa Bay Rays 43. The Rays would get their 49th loss. Marlins 49 and 27th home loss. Miami 27. So I won't be surprised if the Marlins rally and win this game. The Reds and Braves, I'm not sure I want to count this as one of this day in history things because I had to use the exception on Braves to make it there. So I feel like I cheated a little bit on that. We saw that if Gray lost, he would get his His record is 6-7. Braves is 67. Teheran, though, could get his 70th career loss. Cincinnati Reds is 70. So this game actually, it's a little bit dicey. When we first looked at it, it looked good for the Braves, but the more we peeled back, the more it seemed like, this is danger. The Braves can lose and be 2-2 at home versus the Reds this year. Braves is 22, but it's also 31 if they won and became 3-1. So the Braves are at 62 wins versus the NL, 66 on the season. Cincinnati 66, Reds is 62. So I actually think this game is it's pretty tight. If the Reds didn't lose today, they'd go into their next series with 58 losses, which is against the Angels. So the Mets are up on the Pirates now. If the Mets do win this game, they're going to keep the Pirates at 24 home wins on the 24 date. Mets is 24. If the Pirates rally and win, it's still early in the game. If Syndergaard gives up some losses or some runs and falls behind, he has a chance to become 7-6 on the season. Pittsburgh's 76. And the Pirates have a chance to become 2-4 versus the Mets this year. Mets 24 on the 24 date. Right, 24 date. If they lost, they'd be 1-5. Pirates 47 the 15th prime. So see plenty of game left. Pirates in a hole early. Seen the Pirates getting 0-6 holes a couple times this year. Come back, rally, and then end up losing by a run. So if I see that pattern again, we'll see. Pirates still got a shot there, though, definitely. The Mariners and Astros. The Astros had a line of negative 400. I think that's the first time I've seen a line. Maybe there was one earlier this year, but I don't even want to talk about it. Royals and Twins. If the Royals lose, they would pick up their 38th away loss. Minnesota's 38th. That's possible. The Royals, it's delayed. If this game doesn't get rained out, the Twins did something. They switched their pitcher at the last minute. It seems that a lot of times that's not a good sign for a team that switches the pitcher. If the Royals upset today, they would make the Twins 8-4 versus the Royals this year on August 4th, 8-4. And Minnesota Twins is 84. So there's a narrative for the Twins to win, but there's a decent narrative for a Royals upset. So I'd think about that one. Could be one of those, multipliers on a parlay card if it comes through. Low bet, big payout type of thing. Brewers and Cubs. This series has followed the date numerology so far, but it is Sunday, the day that patterns break. If the Brewers did lose all the way through the series, they'd pick up the loss that corresponded with the date numerology in the NL Central all the way through. If Hauser lost today, he'd be 4-5 on the season. Wrigley's 45, Cubs is 45, Brewers is also 45. If Darvish won, he could get to 4-5 on the season. He could also lose and become 3-6. Brewers is 36 and 45. The NL records give the Brewers a chance. The Cubs are going to face the Athletics next. If they didn't win, they'd stay on 59 wins. Oakland Athletics 277, 59th prime. So I think this game's a little bit tight, but looking at the pitchers, I might be inclined to lean Cubbies, but definitely not favorite game of the day. Again, the day patterns break, so could the pattern break here was the question. If the Brewers didn't win, they would also stay on 27 wins, and Cubs is 27. 27 wins in the NL Central. One other thing to consider. Tigers have a prayer against the Rangers. It's Zimmerman becoming 2-8. Rangers is 107, the 28th prime. But probably a game I would just stay away from. Like I said at the beginning of the series, I'd take the Rangers to win the series. I would bet that. Because Tigers getting to 74 losses made a lot of sense. Texas Rangers 74, they've already done that. If they do win today, they will be 33 and 74. We see those numbers get paired a lot. So that's part of the Tigers upset narrative. You can think about if you want to try that one out. Another type of multiplier bet. We got a This Day in History game with the Giants and Rockies. The Giants can get their 73rd win on this day in history. Colorado Rockies 73. If the Giants do win, they'll get their 51st win on the 51 date numerology. And the pitcher records make pretty good sense. Well, the Giants pitcher record makes sense with a W. And you can also make sense of Bochy's win record with a win as well. So things look pretty good for the Giants there. Again, this day in history, it has been perfect so far, where a team can pick up the win or loss that corresponds with the full gematria of the team. Colorado Rockies 73, Giants going for 73rd win on this day in history. I'm sure at some point this isn't going to continue to be perfect. We've only observed it for 5 days. But so far through 5 days where it's come up, it's been flawless. And going to continue to track that one. All right, Cardinals and Athletics. I'm taking the Cardinals here today just because I like them to get to 59 wins. Oakland Athletics 277, the 59th prime. If the Athletics lose, they'll stay on 63 wins to face the Cubs. Cubs 63. The Athletics can pick up their 24th home loss on a 24 date, and the Cardinals can stay on 51 losses on a 51 date. So the Padres and Dodgers, again, like I said at the beginning of the series, I like the Dodgers to win 3 out of 4 to get to 74 wins and 43 home wins. San Diego 74 and 43. The Devil's Advocate statement to that is they do play St. Louis next at home. If they didn't win this game, they'd become 74 and 43 against St. Louis. St. Louis is 74 and 43 as well. The Dodgers, though, can get their 65th win on this day in history, and San Diego Padres is 65. The upset narrative for the Padres is through Maeda. If Maeda lost, he becomes 7-9 on the season and get his 36th career loss. Padres is 36. San Diego Padres is 79. So that's about the only thing going against the Dodgers. Chris Paddock with a loss, though, makes sense. 7-6, Dodger Stadium 76. Sticking with the initial thought there. The Diamondbacks did beat the Nationals yesterday. That was a nice one. It looks like the Nationals can get them back today. If Corbin wins, he's facing his old team, he'd be 10-5. Nationals is 105, Arizona's 105. What could go against Corbin is falling to 9-6 on the season. Diamondbacks is also 96. If he did lose, he'd get his 28th loss at Arizona's home field of his career. Washington Nationals is 107, the 28th prime. But I do like the 10-5 thing better because it's the overlap with both teams. Plus Lavulo, the coach for the Diamondbacks, can get his 57th loss. Nationals is 57. And the date numerology is 51. If the D-backs lose, they get their 51st loss versus the NL. If the Nationals win, they get their 51st win. And just to play devil's advocate, I did just think of something else. If Lavulo won, he'd be 56 and 56. Washington, D.C. is 56. Yesterday, the score was 18-7. Washington, D.C. is also 187. But I still like... I like the Corbin overlap, and I like the date numerology on both sides, even though the date numerology hasn't been consistent. When it's on both sides, it's usually a good sign. And then this Yankees-Red Sox game, I can't pull the trigger here. Yankees do play bad on Sunday. Again, David Price, last time on Sunday Night Baseball, beat the Yankees in New York. New York's a healthier team now since that last game. Again, the reason the game was so bad last time was because of right field for the Yankees. This time in right field will be Aaron Judge. And Aaron Judge is the better fielder compared to the last guy who was like the worst in the history of Major League Baseball. But again, if you didn't see last time Sunday Night Baseball with Price on the mound, Boston won 8-5, 85 days from his birthday, and pretty much all those runs came through the right fielder from not playing his position correctly. Playing it about as horribly as you could ever play it. Which obviously was part of the script. I mean, no one's in the MLB that plays that bad. So I remember that game, they also ran a story about him and his Jordan collection. I guess he had like 100 pairs of Jordans in his closet. And I was just wondering, is this somehow part of the riddle? Jordan is 26 like Yankees. The game was on June 2nd. I guess Jordan's also 62 and 26. That's probably why they did that. I don't know. I didn't think of that before. But anyway, they were showing off his shoe collection, and then he got humiliated in the same game. So If Cora loses, he's 167 and 109. Yankees is 109. 167 is the 39th prime. New York is 39. But if he wins, he gets number 168. New York City's 168. Again, the best thing going for the Red Sox today is getting that 33rd away win in New York. New York 33. But I don't know. I tend to not like the Sunday night baseball games. So, looks like our boy he might stay on top here in this tournament. He's the guy with the 102 connection. One of the guys. 2 South Koreans up there. I can't figure it out what it is about South Korea with this tournament. I don't know if they're like invested. Do they own Wyndham Hotels? But still a lot of tournament left. So a lot can change here. It's tight. All right. But yeah, I'll be sure to post the golf notes in case you're doing that real time. Again, 102 is that magic number. He's got it, the guy on top. Wyndham Championships 102. So I will get up the review video real quick with the link notes. Of course, you can get the link notes from the golf tournament and everything else in prior posts if you want to do that right now. But those Orioles up 4-1. Baltimore 41. Can they hang on? It's got up on the Braves. All right, I will get up the review video, and then we'll be back tomorrow. And tomorrow, I heard the poll. We're going to start with the football focus tomorrow. So we'll still look at baseball. We're not getting rid of baseball, but the focus begins with football tomorrow. So be looking forward to your football calls, and I'll be doing some more work on that massive Decode thread I got going. So thank you everyone in the chat. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll be back with that.